So we found out today that Hastings has been awarded the Ramblers Walking Neighbourhood Award. It's the first time this award has been made, and a major feather in Hastings' cap to have won it against competition from 9 other towns around the UK. Today we've been speaking to Anthony Slack, the man who originally put forward the nomination that saw Hastings included in the list of finalists. We also spoke to Anne Scott of the Old Hastings Preservation Society. They run guided walks around the town and understand better than anybody just what a great walking neighbourhood Hastings is. Well, basking in the news that Hastings has won the Ramblers Award of the Walking Neighbourhood, I'm with Anthony Slack, who was the man who proposed Hastings in the first place. Anthony, you must be very happy this morning.
I'm absolutely delighted that Hastings has won. It was a big team effort within the borough and beyond to get as many votes as we possibly could, and we succeeded.
So tell me, going back to the start, how did you find out that the award was being made, and what was the process that led you to nominate Hastings?
Well, I'm a member of the Ramblers, and there was an announcement in the Ramblers magazine, which is called Walk, that it was holding this competition to find the most walking-friendly neighbourhood in Britain. And I looked at the criteria and I thought Hastings Old Town meets all of these. It's a very pedestrian-friendly place in so many ways. So I made a submission, and I was delighted to find that we were shortlisted on a shortlist of 10. And after that, of course, we had to set about giving as much publicity as we possibly could to get as many votes as we could.
So what were some of the criteria? What were Ramblers looking for in this walking neighbourhood?
Ramblers were looking for a neighbourhood where walking was easy, where the neighbourhood was not dominated by traffic, where the environment was attractive, the buildings were well looked after, open spaces were well looked after. Somewhere which overall encouraged walking, and where walking was an easy and pleasant activity.
And Hastings Old Town, walking is almost a natural activity. It's not particularly car friendly.
That's correct, that's correct. Hastings Old Town is extremely compact, and because of that, getting to places like the shops, the restaurants, the pubs, theatre, cinema, doctor's surgery, the easiest way to get there is usually on foot.
Once Hastings had made it onto the shortlist, what was your plan of action then to make sure that we actually won this award?
The plan of action developed as it went along. We worked very closely with organisations that were the obvious ones to work with, organisations like the Old Hastings Preservation Society, the Old Town Residents Association, the Borough Council were particularly helpful. Our Member of Parliament, Amber Rudd, she was also very encouraging with what we were doing. We obviously spoke to as many friends as we possibly could, and the word spread very rapidly. What was not so easy was to actually get people to vote. Lots of people knew about it, but needed chivying up to vote. Some friends of ours were very good at producing graphic material, a poster and so on, which was displayed in lots of places in the Old Town. The Old Town traders were encouraged to vote and give publicity to it, because obviously it's likely to provide good business for them in the future.
So once voting began, was it then, did you know anything as you went along as to how the town was progressing in the charts, or was it literally the end of last week that you discovered that we'd won? No,
rather to my surprise, the Ramblers did get in touch with us partway through the process and told us we were in the lead, which was a great encouragement to us, and it gave us more impetus to get even more votes. But then just 2 days before the closing date, we were told that we were in second place and slipping down badly. So we redoubled our efforts. Everybody involved did a great deal to contact as many people as possible. One place where we concentrated on in those last few hours was the Hastings College, Sussex Coastal College.
So a tense final couple of days then.
It was, and I was absolutely delighted when I got an email from the Ramblers on Thursday afternoon saying we'd won, but whatever you do, don't tell anybody until it's formally announced, and that was a difficult promise to keep.
So from your point of view, what would you like to see, how would you like to see the town use the award? What do you think can be achieved now that we've actually won this award?
I think that the Borough Council, through its publicity, will do some concentration on the benefits of the Old Town as a place to come and walk. I think it's important to say, of course, that it's not just the immediate environs of the Old Town and the daily walking, which is good, but the Old Town also provides two very contrasting types of walk. There is the seafront, the promenade alongside the beach, which is great for a bracing walk, and it's very bracing today there. And on the other side of the Old Town, of course, is the Hastings Country Park, with some of the most dramatic cliff scenery in Britain.
And of course, a great word that I discovered over the last couple of weeks is twittons.
Yes.
I'd never heard that before.
Yes, twittons, they're not unlike what people in Yorkshire and Lancashire would call ginnels, but they are quite common in Sussex, but there are a lot of them in the Old Town. They're narrow passages, many of which are very old, but some of them were created in Victorian times when small cottages were built in the back gardens of the more historic buildings on the main streets.
Well, thank you. And thanks for having sort of had the foresight to enter the town in the first place, and congratulations on securing the victory.
Thank you very much.
I'm with Anne Scott, who's chair of the Old Hastings Preservation Society, and you must be delighted by this award.
Yes, I am, yes.
Tell me, how did you become involved? How did you find out what was going on?
The OHPS, as we call the Old Hastings Preservation Society, do guided walks during the summer and specialised guided walks during Old Town Week. And so Anthony got in touch and said, could we get involved in the bid? And we were delighted because we're very proud of our Old Town and appreciate all it has to offer.
And you've been doing some guided walks this morning, because that's quite a big part of what you do, isn't it?
It is, yes. We've been taking some student parties round. We also do walks along the Stade. So with one of the Stade guides, we've had, I think there were 35 German students this morning.
And in terms of walking in the Old Town, is it something more people are doing? Do people come in the summer just specifically to look round? How does all that work?
I think the Old Town is probably the major attraction that Hastings has to offer visitors. So most people, I think, make for the Old Town. And it is just a great place to wander around. And because the streets are so interesting, they lead you on. And you think, I'll just go and look and see what's up there, And it's got a wealth of twittons and other little side streets and so many interesting buildings and so much history that it's just a great place to have a wander.
And this building we're in, this provides a resource for history, for information, for people coming to the town.
Yes, this is the Hastings History House, and we purchased this property in 2005. We share it with the Archaeology Group and the Hastings Local History Group, and we open it with volunteers as often as we can and put on historical displays, help people with their own researches. We have quite a good collection of material here to help them with. And yes, it's very, very popular.
And tell me about some of the themed walks you do, because you have very specific themes that you follow, don't you?
Yes, well, we produce an Old Town Walk book leaflet, and we also produce a Regency Walk leaflet that goes around the Old Town, and a pre-Raphaelite Old Town Walk, because it was a great place for the pre-Raphaelite artists to come. And in Old Town Week, which is the last week in July, beginning of August, which the carnival is that week as well, we do specialist guided walks. We do some on various subjects. This year, somebody's preparing one on lost pubs of the Old Town, which will be very popular. And it's also an opportunity for other guides to join in the programme and do their guided walks as well, on smugglers, ghost walk, almost anything you can find a walk on during that week.
Excellent. And in terms of winning the Ramblers Award, I mean, how do you think you can capitalise on that? What sort of things do you think that will bring to the town?
Well, I'm sure it'll bring more people who enjoy walking to the town, and they will, and appreciate what a great place Hastings is, and explore for themselves, because it's a very easy place to explore for yourself as well as taking a guided walk. There's just so much to see.
And as you say, it's the small passages, it's the small roads that lead off the larger roads. It's just a wonderful place to explore.
Yes, it is, yes. And every style of architecture you can imagine, including many buildings, particularly in North Saint Street, that you think are very old and are not. So it's there's just so much here.
Well, thanks for talking to me, and as I say, congratulations again, because I know your members put a lot of effort into making sure the votes were cast, and hope it brings lots to the town.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure it will.